Hey there, Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here. Welcome to day 189 of our BU 365-day challenge to do one thing every day that improves us in some way. This month, the month of July, the segment, we're focusing on the contribution area and aspect of a life framework that I've used for at least 4 decades now. Sometimes religiously, very, very well, meaning I stuck to the life framework in terms of how I live my life, how I set my goals. And then for a few decades in between there, I let certain things slip and then was reminded following a sudden cardiac arrest that it's very important to take care of and consider different areas and aspects of your life that you might be tempted to ignore when life gets busy. Life gets in the way, other things distract us and get our attention. I let my physical, my mental, and my emotional well-being just kind of tank, not realizing what an impact it had on every area and aspect of my life, and got that wake-up call in 2010 that said, you're dead, here's your choice, here's your alternative. You either change your ways massively or you're not going to be here in 3 to 6 years. And so I decided I was going to beat that statistic and made massive lifestyle changes. Went back to living along the lines of the life framework. Now, I use the Tony Robbins, and I'm sure he got it from someone else, but I use the framework that I learned in one of his very early programs, literally 4 decades ago. And it has 7 areas and aspects of our life: physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, financial, relationships, and contribution. Thus, we're following that with this year's annual challenge. That framework, since I've got a lot of personal experience and I've helped a lot of other people use that type of framework to take back control of their life and create the life that they want and that I want. But last year, following the pandemic, it was just kind of a weird discombobulated feeling. And I said, okay, I want to go out and get some coaching for myself. I hadn't been involved with coaches for a few years, and I thought, I'm going to see what's out there. I'm going to get involved with something that I'm attracted to, that feels right for me. So I joined a program that talks and shares about NLP, core skills of communication, confidence, etc., things that positively impact all the other areas and aspects of our life. So I added 2 new areas to my personal life framework. I added confidence and communication, and we will talk about those each for a month over the next couple of months. But right now we're working on contribution, and our topic for today is with respect to contribution, we want to think of this: the value of time versus the value of money, or time or money, or what is more valuable. What are you, and my action item for today, I actually had share your thoughts on how time and money compare, but I changed my mind. And my question today is, think about, what are you more likely to give to the world or contribute or donate? Your time, your physical time and energy, or money? And actually we're going to talk about energy tomorrow because I think it's such a huge topic with respect to contribution. But today let's think about time versus money. Now, I will admit, the older I get, the more valuable I think time is. Why? Well, I had that wake-up call, that death experience, and number 1, and number 2, I realized that the older I get, less time and less time I actually have. None of us are guaranteed a certain amount of time here on the planet. As far as a day goes, we all have the same exact 24 hours in a day, and it's up to us to prioritize and decide how we're going to spend that. And I think that's why time is more valuable, or seems or feels more valuable to me than money, because I can always make more money and I can always find ways to give value and get money back in return. But I can't make more than 24 hours in a day, right? For myself, for my own personal being, I only get 24 hours and I have to decide what I'm going to do with it. So I am a lot more deliberate. I wanted to say selfish, but it's not selfish. I'm a lot more deliberate in how I spend my time these days than I used to be, right? I used to just go through the motions of every day, and whatever happened, happened. Not the best way to go through my life. At least that's what I found for me. So I'm going to share 10 ways that we can value our time. I looked this up and I thought, okay, well, this is good, because a lot of us, especially the younger we are, the more it feels like we have forever. And sometimes we do, sometimes we don't, right? Life happens all the time, and we never know what's going to happen. So I think we want to remember that it is a scarce resource, and we need to choose how we're going to allocate our time, what our priorities are going to be. So number 1, 10 ways to spend our time, or to value your time, is to carve out time to plan ahead. How many of you plan ahead? How many of you plan out your schedule, your week, your months, your years, and have goals, long-term goals, short-term goals? Number 2, limit distractions. That is a biggie, because guess what? Everything on the planet is vying for our attention. Social media, television, you know, I remember the days where there were 4 television channels and then the public television channel. So there were maybe 5 in our area, and we lived by a big metropolitan area, by the Minneapolis area and St. Paul, Twin Cities of Minnesota. So we had 4 television stations, and there was programming, but everything was on a set schedule, right? It was planned ahead in a set schedule. So every Sunday night you watched the Disney Channel, Disney movies as a family, etc. Things like that. And there were a few shows, but nothing compared to the literally thousands of channels and things that are available, streaming, shows. All the shows we watched as kids are available on all the different channels, the cable channels, the satellite TV, the streaming services, movies. I don't think you could ever watch all of the movies that are available on Hulu, Netflix, what's the other ones? Popcorn Time. There's so many of them I've lost count, but I remember Netflix was one of the first ones that I started to participate in because I am a movie watcher. I enjoy movies more than shows and series, probably because we were trained when we were younger that if you wanted to watch a series, there were no reruns for it, right? You watched it every Thursday at 8 or every Friday at 7 or whatever time the show was on. You had to be available to watch it, which was training us to show up on a particular schedule for things, mostly so we could watch advertising for those shows. So limit distractions. Number 3, you can do anything but not everything, right? That's why we have to set priorities and pick and choose. What are we going to give our attention to? What are we going to spend our time on? Who are we going to build relationships with? What are we going to share with the world? What are we going to learn? What are we going to study? How are we going to grow, etc.? Number 5, sleep's important. We got to sleep. I had a terrible night's sleep last night, so this one really hits home. 6, learn to say no. And I will admit, the more I value my time, the easier it is to say no. The more I understand my priorities and what's important to me, and that's why we talk about it every month versus, for each area and aspect of our life, we talk about what are my priorities with respect to contribution. There are certain things that I'm never going to donate my time, energy, knowledge, wisdom, skills, or money to because I don't agree with how they're impacting the world. And there's other things that even though I don't have the time and energy, if someone asks me, I care so much about them and I value what they're doing and how they're showing up in the world that I will find a way to participate and contribute to that. But learn to say no to the things that are not for you. And how do you know? How does it make you feel? That's to me the simplest way to know if something is for you or not for you. And it doesn't mean it's not for your best friend or your family members, but something that's for them may totally not be right for you. And you can tell by the way you feel. If you feel negative or icky or worried or doubtful or fearful or uneasy about something, then it's not for you. So choose not to participate. Number 7, find ways to accomplish multiple goals simultaneously. I think I've shared this in the past. I do affirmations when I do other things. Now I tie them to activities that I've already made a habit of doing, like brushing my teeth. Every morning, as I'm brushing my teeth, I do affirmations. It might sound weird, but guess what? It works for me, and it helps me to not only accomplish my goals in one area, I've got to brush my teeth, right? Every morning and every night. So I might as well add an activity that adds other value to my life as well. Sometimes I do exercises too while I brush my teeth and I do my affirmations. I also do affirmations while I'm doing my face in the morning and my hair, etc. And those I use through my phone. I just listen to them. I don't and then repeat them in my mind. Anyway, number 8, be purposeful with your actions. If you're going to do something, do it on purpose. Don't just randomly be willy-nilly and do however the wind blows, you go and make choices and decisions and you go along with the crowd and everything. Make sure that you are doing what you're doing on purpose. And I think we all go through phases in our life where we're just kind of flowing along with other people and with other things. I remember in corporate America, I was much more likely to go along and selectively and carefully pick and choose what I stood up for and resisted versus in my personal life. Number 9, surround yourself with people who value their time. Because guess what? People who value their own time will also respect and value your time. And number 10, don't think of failure as wasted time. And this is one I had to learn. And I'm working with my kids and again with my grandkids when they get a little older to realize that just because we make a wrong choice or something doesn't work out the way we want it to, or we find ourselves in a difficult situation, doesn't mean we've wasted our time. We've gone through that process, and it's taken that amount of time for us to realize that it isn't right for us. And it's not a failure. It's not a waste of time. And we see this in relationships a lot. And I'm not going to lie. I feel like I wasted 25 years of my life being married to somebody that wasn't right for me. And I don't anymore. But at first, when we first got divorced, I was like, why did I waste all my time with this person when I could have found a person that was better for me and would have been better with my kids and our family situation, etc. And mostly it was because I was scared and I was fearful, right? That's part of the reason we stay stuck. It took me, and it's hard to admit, 25 years to admit and decide that I deserve better, and the kids deserve better, and we all, and even my ex deserved better, right? He deserved someone that he was better suited with. So I can look at that as wasted time, or I can look at all the things I'm grateful for, all the things I gained by that relationship, all the things I learned from that relationship, and some of them were really painful lessons, but other things were awesome, right? Nothing is ever black or white, good or bad, positive or negative. There's degrees of it, and I get to pick and choose what I want to keep out of that, and it's never wasted time. It's always for our benefit, even if it doesn't feel like it. So our action item today, again, is share. What are you more likely to do? Contribute time or money right now to add value to the world, to make the world a better place? Share that in the comments below. Questions, hit me up. Thoughts, comments, concerns. If you think I'm all wet on some of this, please, please, please tell me, because it's just my opinion and my experience that I'm sharing, right? All right. Have an awesome day, and I'll, of course, be with you tomorrow.